That is how they thought that they gain control and domination, and so that they can protect themselves and defend themselves. This is just a mind. This is just a mechanism of the mind that is separate from God. They are making a mere mistake. So when we can look past all the things that they have done in form and look straight to the Christ within them and the God within them and see only that is true forgiveness, that is true healing, that is true miracles at its finest from God, right? And we all have the ability to do this. Okay? Because you think your sins are real, right? Just like Hitler and Osama, we believe the sins to be real, so we hold them, accountable to those sins. You look on pardon as deception. So it's like we're giving them a pardon instead of true forgiveness. And that's not healing. That's just ego mind putting up a roadblock for us. For it is impossible to think of sin as true and not believe forgiveness is a lie. Okay? We cannot possibly sin in this world. There's no such thing as sin. There's a mistake, and there's a correction to a mistake, but there is no sin. If there's sin, someone's to blame. And if someone's to blame, then someone must be guilty. And if you're feeling guilt, then automatically that is the mind of ego, and it's not true. There's no such thing as sin. And if we think our brother has sinned, then we think we have sinned, and we're seeing that within ourselves. We must clear our own mirror before we can see them correctly. Right? Thus is forgiveness really but a sin, if you're seeing through these eyes, like all the rest. It says the truth is false, and smiles on the corrupt as if they were as blameless as grass, as white as snow. It is delusional in what it thinks it can accomplish. It would see as right the plainly wrong, the loathsome as the good. So, this is just talking about the ego's perception of forgiveness right now. Pardon is no escape in such a view. It merely is a further sign that sin is unforgivable, at best to be concealed, denied, or called another name. For pardon is a treachery to truth. Guilt cannot be forgiven. If your sin, your guilt, is everlasting. Those who are forgiven from the view that their sins are real are pitifully mocked and twice condemned. First by themselves for what they think they did, and once again by those who pardon them. Right? So this is saying, like, if you believe and you look upon sin as true, as real, then you're not truly forgiving. We are believing that sin is eternal and that sin is everlasting, which is the opposite of God. God does not create sin, therefore only truth is real and not illusion. Sin is an illusion, and we currently believe it in this world, but it's not true. It's not the laws of God. It is sin's unreality that makes forgiveness natural and wholly sane. A deep relief in those who offer it. A quiet blessing where it is received. Right? So when we recognize sin as not true, when we recognize sin as unreality, is what makes forgiveness natural and holy. It does not countenance illusions, but collects them lightly with a little laugh and gently lays them at the feet of truth. And there they disappear entirely. Right? This is the basis of forgiveness, is it doesn't shun your ego mind. It doesn't attack your ego mind. It doesn't try and fight your ego mind. It doesn't even try and keep the ego mind. It doesn't try and judge the sinners. It doesn't try and, any of this. Basically what forgiveness is it recognizes the illusions of mind. It recognizes that we're perceiving the situation as truth. And, that's okay. That's okay if we're perceiving to see sin as real, right? But what forgiveness does is it welcomes this for a moment. And it places all of our thoughts, our doubts, our judgments, our so-called sins, the sins that we see in our brothers, and it gathers them all up. The entire construct of ego mind, it comes together. And then when we see the picture of this, those people that need to be forgiven, ourselves that need to be forgiven, it's beyond that. It's our entire separation through ego mind that needs to be forgiven. So as we continue one by one to become aware of the thoughts and collect these thoughts as a whole, as an entire system of the ego mind, it becomes laid at the feet of truth. We come to this place within our mind where we recognize I no longer want to perceive this world as sin. I no longer want to perceive this world as separate from God. I'm ready to let go of everything that I thought that I knew. Here, God. Show me another way. Here, God. Take these away from me and replace them with the truth and the light in which I am, in which we all are. And then as we gently lay these illusions before truth, truth outshines the illusions, and truth is welcomed into our mind, into our heart as the truth of who we are. And all of those illusions, all that unforgiveness, all of that sin disappears, and then we are seeing through new eyes. We are seeing through Christ's eyes, hearing through Christ's ears, feeling through the Christ body. Right? It says forgiveness is the only thing that stands for truth in illusions of the world. So true forgiveness is seeing through the eyes of Christ. True forgiveness is only seeing Christ in our brothers. True forgiveness is remembering that we are not this mind that is split. We are not this mind that is ego. We're not this mind that perceives pain, death, and sin. We are true souls that see only perfection, unity, love, harmony, compassion. It's a choice of mind again, right? It sees their nothingness and looks right through the 1,000 forms in which they may appear. It looks on lies, but it is not deceived. It does not heed the self-accusing shrieks of sinners mad with guilt. It looks on them with quiet eyes and merely says to them, "My brother, what you think is not the truth." Right? And so this again is saying that when you see through the eyes of forgiveness, it's not just forgiving, it's seeing through the eyes of forgiveness. What happens is you see past all the constructs of ego mind, all the different ways in which people have sinned and done wrong and done bad, and you see past all those judgments, past all those thoughts that create up the ego mind. You look past all that to the truth and the light that is within our brothers and sisters. And it's that truth and that light that we look at, that we talk to, that we share with, that we join with, and it is this mind that we speak to and say, "My brother, what you think is not the truth." And it's not. You know, if we perceive ourselves as sinning, somebody else is sinning, something that is unforgivable, then we are just holding that sin within ourselves and believing illusion. Right? The strength of pardon is its honesty, which is so uncorrupted that it sees illusions as illusions, not as truth. It is because of this that it becomes the undeceiver in the face of lies, the great restorer of the simple truth. By its ability to overlook what is not there, it opens up the way to truth which has been blocked by dreams of guilt. Okay? So when we look past what others may perceive as sin, like Hitler, for instance, and what he had done with this world, right? If we can look past those ideas of him sinning, we look past that to the truth within him, what that does is it makes way for truth. Makes way for truth in my own mind, the eyes of my brother, and all those around to experience it with us, right? And then from there, what happens as you free this passageway of truth, it basically alleviates that mind that perceived in guilt as well. And therefore, when I don't see the guilt in my brother, then he doesn't see it himself, even if it's for a moment in time. And when that happens, that opens the doors to truth, and that opens the doors to miracles, so that even if my brother, sinner of all sinners, as this world would say, like for Hitler, for instance, he can also come to see the light. He can also come to awaken if he chooses to do so, and if that were supposed to happen at that time, right? And so we all have this ability to choose our right mind, to choose our mind that is one with God. Even if they look to this world to have done the evilest, most disgusting, most dirty, most raunchy things in this world, it's still in a dream. It still means nothing. It still holds no value at all. And if we give it value, then we know what mind we're thinking with, which is the mind that is opposite to God, and that is okay. But we're learning here every step of the way, right? It says, "Now are you free to follow in the way your true forgiveness opens up to you. For if one brother has received the gift of you, the door is open to yourself." And that's the thing, we see within our brothers ourselves. So if we see within our brother's sin, we're seeing it in us. If we judge our brother for their body that we have, we're judging ourselves. If we see our brother as evil, we judge ourselves as evil, right? So it's saying here as well, if we see the way open, the door open in our brother to accepting these thoughts that, oh my God, I'm not guilty, that opens up the door for us as well. As we give it to them, they accept it, we receive, right? Golden rule. There is a very simple way to find the door of true forgiveness, and to perceive it open wide in welcome. When you feel that you are tempted to accuse someone of sin in any form, do not allow your mind to dwell on what you think he did, for this is self-deception. Ask instead, should I accuse myself of doing this? Takes it right back to you. If you're going to judge somebody else, you better bring it back on you. Okay, why am I judging? Should I accuse myself of this? Did I do this? Right? And that opens the door of true forgiveness. It says, thus you will see alternatives for your choice in terms which render choosing meaningless, and keep your mind as free of guilt and pain as God himself intended it to be and as it is in truth. Okay? So we're starting to change our beliefs from up here. It is but lies which would condemn. In truth is innocence, the only thing there is. Forgiveness stands between illusions and the truth, between the world you see and that which lies beyond, between the hell of guilt and heaven's gate. I like that.